Actually, it's the lead play in our offense. We ask our YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet, get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim live in Green Bay. We got Jacob up in Wisconsin on the Minnesota border. How we doing this evening, fellas?
Wisconsin's own, you know?
Yeah. Tim, are you dealing with the smoke? You got that going on in your neck of the woods there?
With the smoke?
No, what's going on? What do you got?
Well, it just looks like that it's just hazy constantly because Canada doesn't know how to put out fires or do anything else for that matter.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
I do.
Message to Canada there. Sorry.
You know what? I did see a little bit of that in the air, but it's pretty breezy right now.
It's
quick.
It's real thick where I'm at. Very thick. Boy.
Bad about it.
Oh boy.
All right. So we had a lot to cover, man. We had a lot of news that dropped today, some surrounding the Packers, and really these contracts that are getting done are going to directly affect the Packers as well, obviously with Jared Goff signing his deal. But before we get into it, let's go ahead and give a quick shout-out to our sponsors, and that is Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since 1992, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source. Got offices next to Lambeau Field and in Milwaukee. You can click on the link in the video description here that'll send you to theticketking.com, where you can register for free as a customer. Get yourself ready for that schedule release coming up. I believe Wednesday is the last I heard. Hopefully that is true. But again, make sure you get all of your Packers tickets through Ticket King, and you can do that at theticketking.com, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access. We appreciate their support, as always. What are you giggling about over there, Jacob? What you got going on?
Well, no, it was one because that was like the only decent lead into that ad I think I've ever seen in my life, where we're not completely just saying the dumbest crap ever. And Dick Palaniuk said Clayton had an anniversary, $50 million a year guaranteed to his wife for putting up with him.
She deserves a lot more than that. I'm just going to tell you right now, man. There's no doubt about that.
And also then Eric couldn't hear with that.
Eric Sutherland says Canada, the skin mark of the North. That's not true, Eric. Hey, those are our neighbors up north. There are some really good people in Canada. There are. Unfortunately,
hey, congratulations, Clayton. Congratulations to you and Mandy, man. Happy anniversary.
I was just going to mention Justin Trudeau, and then you bring up Mandy. They're kind of on the same
mention Trudeau too, man. Yeah.
No, I feel like Mandy's probably just a tad bit more conservative than Mr. Trudeau.
I don't know, man. She rules with an iron fist, bro. There's no doubt about it, man. She, I used to refer to her. Some people are going to get mad about this, but I used to refer to her as Ava Braun. That was Hitler's wife. I used to say that all the time. I remember the first time I said it, people were at the house were like, "Who's Ava Braun?" Man, he was like, "Don't ask." She's all right.
Hey, together through thick and thin till the very end, though.
Yeah, that's true. Let's this isn't a history pod, though. I apologize for bringing that up.
Hear this back on track, shall we?
Let's keep this moving here.
Let's go for this. Chase Claypool's Canadian makes sense.
There you go.
It doesn't make sense. He sucks at football. No, I'm just joking. He doesn't. Chase Claypool. Am I thinking right? Didn't he play for Notre Dame? It was some time ago now. I believe he did. He played for right. Yeah, I think he did. So good stuff. Let's get into the news.
He played for the Bears, though.
Yeah, he did. Is he with Miami now? Am I thinking right?
He's been in way too many teams for a guy that was drafted as early as he did.
Yeah, it's never a good sign, right? Never a good sign if someone gets moved around that much, for sure. So we had a little bit of news break here for the Packers. Obviously, the news about Trent Jones, Paul Brettel tweeted out. Packers just announced that Jones was placed on the reserve retired list. Obviously, offensive lineman Trent Jones was an undrafted free agent that the Packers signed to play guard. We actually talked about him. Was it last night or the night before, fellas, I believe? Yeah, kind of talking about Trent Jones. Obviously played offensive line for Michigan. I believe he filled in for – now his name is escaping me. But there was an offensive lineman that was pretty highly touted until he got hurt there out of Michigan. All those rookies' names run together for me. But Zenter, Zach Zenter. Thank you, Jacob. So, yeah, I don't want to say high hopes for Trent Jones, but obviously he landed 247th on my board. So it was kind of one of those picks like, okay, man, he's on the radar, right? If you were to sign him as an undrafted free agent, maybe he can get in there and compete. But obviously it sounds like his football career is done here, man. And I don't understand all the details when it comes to reserve retired list. I believe they can come out of retirement if they want to later. I mean, I don't think there's anything like set in stone that, oh, nope, if you make this decision, you can't play. I think it just has more to do with the financial obligation of the Packers and whatever team that signs them. So kind of a formality, but it sucks a little bit, though, Jacob. It ain't a huge blow, but I was really looking forward to see if he could compete in camp, man.
Yeah, me too. I guess I'm a little bit confused by that designation. Does that mean that the player decided that, like, I'm not doing this anymore? Or does that mean that the team says we're putting you here because we need to make a chess move? Mm-hmm. Possibly we can bring you back. Like, do you guys get that at all? Or
as we always do on this show, if we don't have an answer to a question, we're going to tell you we don't know, right? We're not going to sit here and try to BS it or fluff it. I know there's some, like I said, some financial benefits to a player retiring as opposed to just going on IR, that type of thing. So I didn't see the words injury settlement anywhere. And most of the time that's what comes into play. Like they'll offer a chunk of change to a player like, hey, look, let's just settle out of this and we'll, you know, as we say on the show sometimes, if you guys don't like the show, just pretend like it didn't happen type thing, you know. But, yeah, I don't know all the details there. Tim, I imagine you probably don't either, do you, Bo?
No, nothing specific on that.
Okay. Good deal. So
Michael here may be correct. It feels like to me like it would make sense that the player was the one that said, hey, for whatever reason, I'm out, you know, or whatever. I don't know if that's the case. It just makes sense. But.
No, it kind of feels like that. Like you said, the way it's worded too, you know, reserve retired list, almost like, hey, if he changes his mind. When you hear reserve, you know, it's like, okay, he may change his mind later, but as of right now, he's retiring type thing. So we had another guy too. Was it? Can't remember if it was Cole Madison or not. Who was it that we drafted that did that?
Cole Madison, yeah.
Was it? Yeah. That's what I was thinking. So, obviously Trent Jones doesn't look like he's going to be playing football here in the foreseeable future. But we had some big news drop today across the NFC North. I'm really excited to dive into all the numbers here as Jared Goff actually signed his contract. So we're going to start with his calculated market value. And this is according to Spot Track. Now, keep in mind, guys, sometimes they come in high, sometimes they come in low on these numbers, right? And they give a really, really good detailed description of why they came up with the number or how they came up with the number they came up with. So their projected was base calculated value was 3 years, $122.9 million for an average salary of $40.9 million. Now, you can see here, it says, now we'll compare our variables and Goff statistically over the 2 seasons prior to their signing. In this case, we're analyzing game played percentage, passing yards per game, passing touchdowns per game, passing interceptions per game, pass completion percentage, passer rating, rushing yards per game, and rating. Okay, so here are the players that they comp to. Joe Burrow, right, who got a 91.2 rating. Justin Herbert, 84.3 rating. Dak Prescott, 82.7 rating. Matthew Stafford, 81 rating for an average of a rating of 81 or 84.84. Okay. Jared Goff comes in at an average of 78.4 as far as the rating goes. Now, when you look at the percentage change there, obviously it's minus 7.59. Okay. The median prime percentage change is 4.51. And the average prime percentage change is 8.37. So they come up with an estimated or a calculated market value for Jared Goff at 4 years, $153.4 million for an average salary of 38.3. Now, again, that's comparing him, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, Matthew Stafford, and the contracts that they got, right? And again, just like the draft every spring, we always talk about how teams are willing to reach on a quarterback because it's that important of a position. Teams are obviously willing to overpay. If you don't believe me, go look at Deshaun Watson's contract, right? But Jared Goff's actual contract, again, 4 years, $153 million for an average salary of 38.3. His actual contract was 4 years, $212 million with $170 million guaranteed. This is according to Adam Schefter. So, as Matt Schneidman quote tweeted, that's $53 million per for Jared Goff. Well, Jordan Love topped that. So, according to Spot Track, they grossly overpaid. But again, when it comes to this stuff, Spot Track is being better, very detailed in the numbers. That goes out the window when you're negotiating for a quarterback in the National Football League. Everyone is going to overpay. That's just the way it's always been, the way it's always going to be. But thoughts on that initially there? Let's just go around the horn with it, Tim. We'll start with you, Bub.
I'll take Jay Money over Jared Goff any day.
Amen.
Yeah. But not to diss Jared Goff at all, because he's worth the money. He's proven himself, I think. Especially
great year last year, man.
Yeah, especially like I was just gonna say, like this kind of like mid-career resurgence that he's had ever since the deal with him and Stafford took place. So I'm not gonna knock Jared Goff. I feel like he deserves it, but I feel really good about QB1 in Green Bay right now. And I think the market is starting to show itself. And honestly, the sooner the better here. Any day now, Packerland, let's get this deal done here with Jay Money.
That's the tough part, man. Jacob, we've talked about it. As these quarterbacks start signing their new deals, the longer we wait, the money just keeps going up, right? The price goes up for Jordan Love. But what do you think here, man?
Yeah, 100%. Ron's talking about it here. Detroit signs 3 of their key players. It's around $444 million, basically.
Yeah.
Sutherland says it's more like they spent $300+ million on 3 players in this offseason. And Love's about to get paid, like Respect Orange is saying there. And honestly, to Tim's point, I can't hate Jared Goff. I wish I could. The guy is just, for what he went through in his career, I would say 90% of quarterbacks would not have survived what his career path was.
I agree.
If you guys don't remember, he got shipped away. He didn't get traded. He got absolutely tossed to the curb like yesterday's garbage.
Yeah. And his coach, Sean McVay, I don't mean to cut you off, but his coach, Sean McVay, Jacob, his exact quote was, I wanted someone to partner with at quarterback. I didn't want a student.
Exactly. So, and I mean, to that credit, they win a Super Bowl when they did that. So, I mean, I guess I understand that. And, but to that, and on the same thing, though, Goff in Detroit, I think that, was it Dan Campbell? Yeah. Loves the guy, has trust in him. Dan Campbell's a player's coach. So he has trust in him. And I think that he has a loyalty to him. Like, I brought you here, or he didn't bring you here, but you got dealt here. You've shown up for the city. I just actually listened to a podcast today that talked about how Jared Goff has really been really instrumental in helping the city of Detroit, which, Detroit is one of those cities that absolutely got demolished in the last 50 years by whatever. So it's nice to see that there's finally a resurgence there in some of those old lost American cities that were just so great at one time. Baltimore, Detroit, all these kinds of cities like that. But I do think it's going to be good for Jordan Love, and we got to get this guy some money quick, because yesterday's contract doesn't mean crap tomorrow. And it seems like, Spot Track is usually so close. They were way off on this one. So it leads me to believe that, and honestly, if you bring back up that schematic there of the quarterbacks, you don't have to. I'm just saying, if you were to, maybe Joe Burrow would be the only one that I would say I'd like to pay that kind of money to. Yeah, right there. I mean, I don't trust Justin Herbert with him and his receiving crew right now. I'd never have liked Dak Prescott. Matthew Stafford's like 55 years old. Jared Goff, sure, but he's on the downslope for sure of his career. Jordan Love, he's 2 years in, and he that last part of the season, he was better than regular Aaron Rodgers, which is better than most quarterbacks in NFL history. So,
and it's a what have you done for me lately league, right? So Jordan Love finishing the season strong. His agent was like this. Yes, let's go. You know he was. So I actually pulled up his market value just to kind of compare it. They've got his base calculated market value at 5 years, $264.6 million for an average of 52.9. Now, when they did the final comp, it came to 4 years, $191.5 million, $47.8 million per. So what you're gonna see with Jordan is somewhere between 50 and 60 million per. And the guaranteed money is going to be what determines whether that average number is down a little bit from that or up, obviously, if they give less guaranteed money. So John Schmidt in the chat said, oh, I missed it. My bad. He said, Packers better get Love done before Prescott gets 60 million a year. Amen. Again,
Prescott's going to get that money either way, though.
What's that?
Right? I said Prescott's going to get that money either way, right? For some reason, they're in love with him.
Again, I don't want to steer it off track here, but can you guys appreciate how great it is to not have a freaking owner, a guy like Jerry Jones, a guy like who was the dude in Washington forever that just absolutely crapped
Dan Snyder, man.
Dan Schneider. Yeah. Like, it just makes me so happy that we have the grouping we do in that front office, because it's like you get on a whim. Like Jerry Jones, everybody loved him in the early 90s, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, what have you, like Clayton said, what have you done for me in the last 30 years, dude? Like you do nothing but spend a lot of money, talk a lot of crap, and then just get really disappointed every year.
With Goff, I feel like, I mean, maybe this is off base, but I might be alone on this, but I feel like he's Kirk Cousins, but younger,
I agree.
Like, I look at Goff and I see like, Kirk Cousins minus 5 or 6 years,
Yeah. I could see that. And listen, Goff played great, man. He played great last year. And like you said, if anything, he's got way more mentally tough, right, over the last few years, because like Jacob said, he was his back was put against the wall. If he had failed in Detroit those first couple of years, he'd probably be backing up somebody right now, right? So he really rose to the occasion. I think he's a solid quarterback. But, I'll tell you this, though. Detroit has shelled out, like we said, a ton of money. Their cap is going to be they're going to be in cap hell here real soon. Now, it doesn't mean they can't make it work. It's just simply you're going to probably see them be less aggressive in free agency moving forward. They've kind of got their roster, they've got their guys. Hey, we're going to invest in our guys, and I don't see them going out on any kind of spending spree anytime soon when it comes to free agency. Now, again, if the cap jumps another $30 million next year, and I don't think any of us believe it will jump that much, all bets are off. That's why it's important to I try not to I try not to foo-foo the whole salary cap situation. But what I simply point out is the goal is to have the best team, not look up and go, "Whoo, look at us. We got 23 million in surplus." That's not how the league works, right? Like, you've got to be willing to, if again, overpay for great, never overpay for good. When it comes to Jared Goff, if he plays like he did last year, they just overpaid for great. I'm okay with it. And at the premier position, right? The next person we're going to talk about here is the Antoine Winfield contract. I'm sure you guys seen this come down the pike here. So Antoine Winfield signs a new deal with the Bucs, and I actually heard, I think it is his name, Matt. I can't remember his name. Their general manager was on the McAfee show the other day, and he was real confident. Like, hey, look, it'll take care of itself. Oh, by the way, you see who his agency is? David Mulugeta. That is Jordan Love's agent, Athlete First. So these dudes they're probably the new Drew Rosenhaus, to be honest with you. That's the name I hear the most now, is David Mulugeta. But he's the one I tried to call Mugatu the other night, if you guys remember. That's who I was trying to think of. Yeah, there it is, Mugatu.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
So hot right now. So hot right now.
So hot right now. The freak gasoline fight. All right. So Ian Rappaport tweets out, the Bucs and all-pro safety Antoine Winfield Jr. have struck a deal, and for the first time in NFL history, the highest paid DB is a safety. All right. So they obviously completely demolished all precedent and made a safety the highest paid position, or highest paid DB in NFL history. Now, I agree with that. You guys know how I feel. I feel like post safety is more important than corner. I don't even have corner as a tier 2 position of importance, right? So I agree with overpaying for great. That's what they did here at the safety position. Obviously, 4 years, $84.1 million, with $45 million fully guaranteed in the deal. All right, so $84.1 million with $45 million fully guaranteed. Let's go to his market value chart, and we'll flip back and forth here. So Spot Track has his market value comparisons, statistical comparisons to Derwin James at a 78.5 rating, Minkah Fitzpatrick at a 69.6, Jesse Bates 66.5, Marcus Williams 79.7, for an average of 73.59. Antoine Winfield comes in at an 84.5. His median prime percentage change is minus 1.74%. His average prime percent change is a positive 0.51%. So the calculated market value on him was 5 years, $81.8 million for an average salary of $16.3 million. So again, you look at the actual contract, 4 years, $84 million with $45 million fully guaranteed. So they overpaid for great there, according to Spot Track, and you see who we're comparing them to, right? That's how they come up with the numbers. Again, it's not them just firing from the hip going, hey, I think this guy's worth this much money. It's simply comparing him to the closest comps that they have. So pretty interesting, right? And Ron Sample hit the nail on the head. You're reading my mind here, Ron. He said Winfield's contract makes McKinney look like a steal. So think about this. When we look at McKinney's contract or Winfield's contract, 4 years, $84.1 million for $45 million fully guaranteed. McKinney's contract, right? 4 years, $67 million with $23 million guaranteed. So essentially, what is that per year? $16.7 million, right? And if you go to Antoine Winfield, it was going to be, what's that average out to? Over 20, about 21 million per? 21 million per, and twice as much guaranteed money than Xavier McKinney's contract. And what's cool about Xavier McKinney's contract, if you look at it here, is when the Packers could actually get out of it. You could probably get out of it in 2026 if you wanted to. Again, a 4-year deal that's really a 3-year deal that we always talk about. His cap hit this year is $7.8 million. Next year it jumps to 17.6. Then it jumps to 19.1. Then it jumps to 22.5 in 2027. So again, little comp there. Now, some people are going, yeah, but Antoine Winfield is way better than Xavier McKinney. He's better. I'll give you that. But PFF suggests that Xavier McKinney is the 4th highest graded safety. Antoine Winfield is number 1 at a 90.7 grade, right? Xavier McKinney, 87.5, roughly 3 points lower for half the guaranteed money, right? So I completely agree. I think Xavier McKinney's contract's a freaking steal. Tip your cap to Goody. He absolutely crushed it.
That's a TJ Maxx Ross deal right there, bro. That's what I'm all about. Saving that money.
Exactly.
No, the only place you could get better savings, probably Home Depot. Just saying.
Very good point. Very good point. So I don't know, man. When I seen that contract come across, when I seen that contract come down the pike, I got excited because I'm like, man, Goody, if you were to lay this out, let's go back to, February, March, whenever it was. I guess it was March in free agency. If we went back to March and you said, all right, Clayton, here's the deal. You can have Antoine Winfield, right, for 4 years, $84.1 million with $45 million guaranteed, or you can have Xavier McKinney for 4 years, $67 million with only $23 million guaranteed. Which would you rather have? I'm saying Xavier McKinney, man.
Yeah, me too. I mean, he's a year and a half younger too, right?
Right.
So you got the youth as an added bonus, and I mean, it's not a knock on Winfield. I love Winfield. He was on my radar, a few months ago when we were talking about possible signings for the Packers, but I feel like McKinney's got the higher ceiling, man. I really do, and I feel like he's, McKinney's like a walking splash play waiting to happen. Yet so fundamentally sound, so disciplined, so smart that he's not going to give up the big play. And
right.
I don't know. I'll take McKinney, 9 times out of 10 in the comparison for sure.
Yeah. Magic hit the nail on the head there. He said Goody strikes when the iron's hot. Like when he signs free agents, and we've seen this with Adrian Amos, we've seen this with Preston Smith and Zadarius Smith, it's like, go out in day one, here's our best offer. Do you want it or not?
And Campbell and Rasul and a few others I'm sure we're forgetting.
If you don't want this deal, it's cool. We'll move on, but it's on the table right now. Take it or leave it. I think that's really how he approaches it. And someone like McKinney was like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's roll. So pretty cool. And some people will go, why do you think that, Clayton? It's because if he thought he could have got a better deal, right? Or if Goody didn't approach him that way, then that would have drug out for several days. He got done quick. What were you going to say, Jacob?
No, I think just to highlight how crazy that contract is for the safety position, I think I read this correctly. Chat, tell me if I'm wrong. I think it's the first time in NFL history that a safety has surpassed the guaranteed money for an NFL quarterback, something along those lines, or it's the first time that a safety has surpassed the quarterback on the same team's annual guaranteed salary or something.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
Because it makes sense. Because if you think about it, they got Baker Mayfield, but they kind of were like, Baker, just come on, dude. We know you need this job.
Right.
You're going back, and you're going to take whatever we're giving you. Like
exactly. But yeah, when you look at the differences between Winfield and Xavier McKinney, again, 90.7 overall defensive grade. McKinney, 87.5 defensive grade. Run defense, Antoine Winfield, 91.5. And this is just from 2023, okay? He had a 91.5 run defense grade. Xavier McKinney's was only 70.5. Pass rush, we all know it's not important for a safety. Antoine Winfield, 92.7. If you remove the pass rush grade and Xavier McKinney with his 58.5, McKinney may have graded out better, honestly.
Thick.
Exactly. So, but some people are going, man, he's way better than McKinney. The coverage grade for Antoine Winfield, 84.0. Xavier McKinney, 91.2. Again, he needs to be your post safety in this defense. There's no doubt about that. So,
can I share something quick?
Yeah, man.
Mike Berry says Lynn Dickey was his own agent, saving some money. And then Paul comes back and says Affam was his own agent when he signed the deal to be the Dollar General assistant manager. So,
man, the dollar store. Dollar General catching some strays out here, man.
All right. Wash your hands, wash your butt, man. That's it. That's all.
You go into the dollar store, you better wash your hands, wash your butt. You better wash your hands because none of those people are washing their butt. Let's just put it that way. All right? There you go. That's what you get on this show. All right. So you guys got anything else you want to add to the contract talk? I thought that was a fascinating conversation. I really enjoy talking numbers like that.
I mean, I would just say that, like we talked about, it's even a quote on draft day when they, he calls him like 2 minutes or, 2 hours later or whatever. And he goes, oh, I want a different this and this. He goes, well, that wasn't the deal we had in place. Deals change. You know what I mean? So I feel like with Love, please pay the guy and pay him what he deserves, but don't let Dak Prescott sneak in there and get 60 mil. And all of a sudden we got to give him, something unbelievably crazy. I think that we need to I think Jordan Love, too, is the type of player where if you pay him fair, he's not going to be like, I want to be the most highest player in my position, blah, blah, blah. I just think he's a nice guy, a humble guy, understands that $200 million is $200 million. If you're 20 or 30 short of that, then whatever. But
yeah. I'm not worried about Jordan Love. I'm worried about his agent. That's what agents get paid the big bucks for. And the more money the agent gets for the player, the more money the agent gets, right? So, and we saw that with Aaron Jones right now, right? We just saw that. It's not about, the player. It's about their representation. And, that's what you want. You want a guy to go to bat for you, guy or girl, go to bat for you as your agent and get the most value you can. But, I agree, Jacob. I don't think it's about the money for Jordan, but as far as his representation, they're going to try and get the biggest, baddest contract they can. And honestly, man, I'm tired of hearing Jordan Love and Dak Prescott brought up in the same sentence. They don't belong in the same conversation. We saw that last year. Dak's had a number of years to show his worth, and I feel like Jay Money is on the ascent. And honestly, I think Mr. Here we go is kind of plateaued. Yep, I think he's kind of plateaued there in Big D, but we'll see what the future holds down there. But I'll take Jordan all day, J Money all day. I've been saying it, like Goody since 2020. So I'm looking forward to 2024, man. We'll see it.
I've always kind of pulled for Dak because I like what he kind of stands for, what he represents,
I'm there with you. I like Dak the person. I really do. A lot of respect for him.
I hate that story.
Dak the quarterback.
Listen, I've defended him before, going, no, I think he's a great quarterback. The reality is, when you get in the biggest games, he just doesn't rise to the occasion, man. That's what we've seen, and maybe he can change it this year. I hope not, but maybe he does. Checking out in the chat says, in comparison, people think Poles is playing 3D chess by getting Jalen Johnson for $19 million a year. Getting McKinney for what he did must be 5D chess. The other thing about Jalen Johnson, he was the highest graded corner in all of the National Football League last year, but it seemed like an extreme outlier. Right now, we'll see. Maybe he plays at that level again. But if you go through his grades and you kind of look off just based off of precedent, I imagine there's a much, much greater chance that he's going to come down closer to the 70, anywhere from 65 to 75 range as far as performance in a PFF standpoint than what he actually had last year where he graded out in the 90s. But, yeah, I agree. I think McKinney, again, it's a more important position, that post safety position, than a corner, in my opinion. And you got him for cheaper than that guy as well. Pretty impressive for sure. Let's see here. M. Smitty in the chat says, Paul, AFAM was his own agent on the corner of Oneida. All right, so there you go with that. 2-0 for this says, AFAM was his own agent when he was modeling his mustache on OnlyFans. So. AFAM's catching all kinds of heat.
That's good money, all right? Don't knock it till you try it.
Exactly. All right,
check out Jacob's page on onlybeards.com.
My favorite, man, I hear an ad down here all the time in the South. It's farmersonly.com. You guys heard of it?
Oh, no, that's not in the South, brother.
Is it up there?
Everywhere.
They are the worst. I have to, at this point, think they'd make them intentionally.
Jacob said, I tried this side. It doesn't work. Now go ahead.
Hi, I'm Date Mike. Nice to meet me.
They have to make him like it's one of them. Remember, it's his dog being like, "You ain't never gonna find a wife." He's like, "I'm on OnlyFans or what?"
Hey, if they can find this guy a wife, they can find anyone a wife.
I tried this one chilling that set my mouth on fire, and I had to drink a 2-liter of Mountain Dew.
That's the founder of farmersonly.com right there. Actually,
yeah.
His name is Jarvis. But all right, let's shift gears and talk a little draft. It's still, the draft is still kind of lingering, with obviously with the picks. We've got the Oladapo. By the way, the majority of the announcers that I've heard say his name refer to him as Oladapo. So I'm wondering if we're kind of narrowing it down and that's actually how you say his name. But
I'll believe it when I hear it from him.
Tim, you continue to say Oladapo. I'll continue to say Oladapo. And then Tim can say, or Jacob can say Home Depot or whatever he wants to say. So
then we got to figure out, is it Catan or Ketan? What's the first name?
They said Catan Oladapo. And I thought it was Catan Oladapo.
You know what? I'm going to just say it like this. We went from J-O to K-O. We'll just call him K-O. I'm going to crown it right now. I'm calling him K-O from now on.
Tim over here spitting tonight.
Let's go. Box safety, baby. KO. Knocking them out all day. I'm calling them KO. I'm running with it.
So we've got a couple of tweets here that came in from, I think it was Dane Brugler, and it was referring to Jim Nagy, or it might have been Jim Nagy referring to Dane Brugler on our entire draft class. And not our entire draft class, but the players that actually were at the Senior Bowl. You guys know, if you followed our draft coverage leading up to the draft, we keyed in on two things here. Obviously, top 30 visits and Senior Bowl participants, because the Packers love Senior Bowl guys. That proved to be, even truer than we had imagined this year, right? I think they drafted, was it 8 guys, if I remember correctly, from the Senior Bowl. But when we get ready, like I said, we'll dive into that and what they had to say about all those Senior Bowl participants that the Packers drafted. But first thing first, let's hit this quick little Jordan Morgan one-on-one video. Him and Larry McCarron, obviously Jordan Morgan being the 25th overall pick, left tackle out of the University of Arizona. So
thick.
He is thick. You can find this video at Packers.com for free, as well as their Twitter account, all that stuff. Just make sure you go like it, share it, give them, show them some love. They've been really stepping up the game. But here we go, Jordan Morgan.
The Green Bay Packers select Jordan Morgan.
A lot of talent, and he's experienced at left tackle.
I've seen a good athlete, great footwork, good balance.
The thing that impressed me the most is his tenacity, his resiliency.
Can't wait to get to Green Bay and get to work. Go, Pack, go.
You've devoted most of your young life to football. What do you like about football?
I like the work you have to put in to get to where you're at. I mean, the process, the weightlifting, the studying, everything, just to see your product on the field, see the outcome. I mean, on the field, you do whatever you need to do to get them out the way. You can be dirty, you can talk mean, you can do whatever you need to do. That's what I love about it.
A lot of young players coming in, they don't appreciate the details because they were talented enough to beat the guy across from them in college. But you figured that out early. Are you just a smart guy, or how did you figure that out?
Yeah, I mean, once you figure out the details of a defender, it all comes easier. You won't stress as much, you won't overthink as much just because you studied the player, you know them. It takes so much stress off your game and so much stress off of everything else on the field.
And for the Arizona touchdown.
Versatile offensive lineman like we like. I feel he could probably play 4 positions for us. Two-time team captain, just our kind of guy. And really excited.
Brian Gutekunst said you could be a 4-position player. Do you imagine, hey, I'd much prefer that it winds up that I play left tackle? How do you look at that?
I mean, playing all the positions that they want me to play. I mean, all the positions that I can play and learn and get all the tools in my tool belt. At the end of the day, I would love to play left tackle and show all my talents and strengths at left tackle because I've been there for so long. And I feel like that's where I'll strive the most. But, I mean, any position's fine with me, too.
Watching your tape, man, can you move your feet?
It's a natural thing, but it's also a lot of footwork stuff. In my childhood, we had a wash next to our house. It was full of sand, and that's where I'd go run and do a bunch of football movement stuff. But I was skinnier when I was younger. I wasn't a lineman.
You didn't start out as a lineman,
yeah,
did you?
so I wanted to be a quarterback. So, I mean, I tried out for quarterback. I got bigger, got fatter, got taller. Transferred high schools, and that's when they realized, like, oh, you're big enough to go play tackle, so put me at tackle, and that's where I did the best.
Another thing I've noticed, Jordan, about your play style, you are a finisher.
Throws that way, touchdown.
It was something that Arizona emphasized. I mean, it just stuck with me. All the older guys were always like, man, you should bury this guy. You should be doing more. You should do extra. Like, it doesn't matter what size they are. It doesn't matter how quick they are. Just finish. That's the most important thing.
You're a nice guy, but on the field, it doesn't.
Sorry, guys. I got to take this back right here. Look at that dude, how he's built. Like, he doesn't look very fat at all, does he?
No, he doesn't.
I mean, yeah, to me, he reminds me of a young David Bakhtiari. He really does.
Yep.
Very, very lean. He's going to be someone who plays with technique and good footwork. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I seen that and was like, that dude looks like he's built like a tight end. Pretty wild.
But on the field, it doesn't hurt to be a little bit of a jerk and to bury the guy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Jordan, what are your hopes, dreams, and aspirations for your rookie season in Green Bay?
Gaining the trust of everybody on the team, everybody in the staff room, everybody around the facility, all the fans, and I hope to win a Super Bowl and bring it back here.
He sure
if you want to know where Jordan Morgan's going to put defenders, look right below that pinky right there. That's Larry's pointing right at it, right on the ground. That's where they're going.
I love it. Deadfish says, actually, we'll let Coach Half handle this. Deadfish says that Jordan Morgan.
Thick.
There you go. So let's see here. We had a couple other chats I wanted to hit on, then we'll jump into these Senior Bowl guys before it gets too far off the rails. AFM in the chat said, Oladapo going to ask for a name change if he ever watches this show. Amen, man. Amen. Mike Berry said the Home Depot. Ron Sanville says, drafted more guys from the Senior Bowl than the Bears' total picks. Think about that. That's a fact. It's absolutely wild, man.
Doubled their picks from the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
The more and more I look back, the more and more I love that we took Jordan Morgan.
Me too.
I really love it.
Took a punter in the 4th round, dude. They're trying to justify it. I just you got to go home, dude. Go home.
Go home. You're drunk. Give me your keys. Call an Uber. You're going home. Coach Lynn says, if the Lions did not trade in front of us one spot, do y'all believe we would have drafted Arnold? I know it's a boring answer, Coach, but no one knows but Goody, right? We don't know he may have had Arnold, 10, 15 spots down the board. He might have
I think he had corner lower on his priority. I think that's really what it was.
It kind of feels that way, but, if we had Arnold on the board and Goody drafted Arnold, you get no qualms from me either. Like, I mean, that would be a solid pick. Obviously, we all felt like, hey, look, if you're going to take corner, you take it in the first round. But, with the Lions kind of leapfrogging them there a bit.
I guess the question would be if we did have corner on the board, we did take Terry and Arnold early. Who do we take with that 7th round spot instead of Kalen King? Do we snag a tight end?
That's
do
a
we
great point.
grab D line? Do we, so the world will never know. But, I'm happy with this draft, though, either way.
I will say, though, I know it's like basically the underwear Olympics just a little bit more when you do the rookie training camp kind of stuff. Apparently, Arnold looks pretty good in practice.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there was many people that felt like he was the better corner. According to Greg Cosell, he felt like Arnold was better than Kool-Aid McKinstry. Obviously, they played together. He said, but it depends on what you want. Arnold is more of a mirror match press man guy, and Kool-Aid McKinstry is more of a physical press man. So a little more off coverage, Terry and Arnold, a little more in-your-face press, Kool-Aid McKinstry. But, yeah, I think I had Terry and Arnold as like the 2nd or 3rd best corner on my board, but they were all kind of grouped together. So, obviously, it's pretty much in ballpark. 2-0 for this says, nothing says confidence in your quarterback like taking a punter with a quarter of your picks.
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
Jim Nagy, he tweeted this out. Here's what, and he hashtag #GoPack Packer fans can expect from Senior Bowl rookies. Prepare to scroll with 8 draft picks! ! So he's obviously fired up. You guys know that Jim Nagy he kind of oversees the Senior Bowl. And what I love about Jim Nagy is as they get into that Senior Bowl week and then immediately following, it's like he becomes every single prospect's number one cheerleader, right? He's really trying to help get these guys drafted. You could tell he appreciates, loves, and puts a lot into his job in kind of running the Senior Bowl. But let's just go pick by pick. I'll try not to bore you too much with my lack of reading skills here. Jacob, unless you want to read it. Is it too small on your screen, bro?
I could knock it out here. I'm gonna
go ahead. You're a better reader than me. Let's hear that beautiful voice of yours.
Yeah, it says, here's what Go Pack Go fans can expect from the Senior Bowl rookies. Prepare to scroll down. The tackle guard selection, Jordan Morgan, round 1, pick 25, slam dunk, left tackle, athlete jumps off the tape, has sweet feet, reactive mirror skills, and recovers quickly to compensate for the lack of ideal length. Simply glides and pass pro. Functions easily laterally and at second level. Should be even better next fall after a year removed from an ACL injury, which obviously that's a big deal there. My favorite, defensive safety, I guess is what they're having listed there. Javon Bullard, round 2, pick 58, interchangeable free safety, strong safety skill set with nickel flex, instinctive and competitive, good eyes and trigger to make plays, excelled during team periods and mobile, and helps himself with a 4.47 time at the combine. I forgot about that. Strapped together physically and more physical than measurables might suggest. Long-term building block in secondary. Our guy Mashawn Lloyd, round 3, pick 88. Thought he was a top running back in the draft. He has Josh Jacobs give Pack one. Him and Josh Jacobs give the Pack one of the best 1-2 rotations in the NFL. That's crazy that he said that. Hard to handle in space, elusive, explosive, and fun lateral cutter. That's true. Compact, hard to wrap up body, to bounce off contact. Reese Jones Drew. Way more dangerous in pass game than the stats suggest. True 3-down back with a high-end starting talent. We're getting down to Evan Williams here, round 4, pick 111. Many teams we've spoken to think that targeting him early in day 3 where the Pack took him, or they were targeting him where the Pack took him in day 3. Falls into good football player bucket, good centrified skill set, fun tape loaded with cool range plays, boosted stock with excellent Senior Bowl game performance, gives coaches sub-down options, could see him at the free safety with Bullard moving to the nickel in packages. You'll have to scroll for me. I got nothing.
Yeah, we'll get to the next one here in just a second. The thing that jumps out, let's go around the horn once here. Of these 4 players that they mentioned, 4 of the 8 that were drafted that obviously by the Packers that were at the Senior Bowl, the one that sticks out to me the most is hands down Javon Bullard. That's the one I'm most excited about. I think he's going to come in and be a day one starter. You go back and watch the tape, and he's just what he says about his eyes, good eyes and trigger to make plays. There's no hesitation. He's always a half a step ahead because it just seems like he sees everything really, really well. But who was your favorite on this list here, Tim, that maybe jumps out to you?
Yeah, Bullard is the first one for sure. I think you and I are in lockstep on that one. But there's a lot to be excited about with Marshawn Lloyd. I felt like that might have been, I don't know, arguably Goody's best pick in this draft. I think time will tell. This was kind of a little bit of a crapshoot with running back in this draft class. There was some talent, but not a ton of running back talent. And I feel like we did. I feel like we landed the best running back in the draft in the 3rd round. And Goody's got this down to a science at this point. But I think out of these 4 here, I mean, I love them all. But if you're talking about who's going to make a big splash right away, I would say Bullard or Morgan would be my top 2, and then Marshawn Lloyd.
What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, Tim kind of stole my thunder there. But to be just a little bit of the devil's advocate, I think that, and this isn't just me trying to take an opposite position to fill time. I think Evan Williams could surprise us. I don't think that he's going to be a starter, but I think in certain packages and certain situations, depending on where Bullard falls and where Oladapo falls and all that kind of stuff. I mean, we watched the Chalk Talk, was it yesterday morning? Like, the guy is just a human missile. He is, if you say, hey, go get that guy, he's going to get that guy. If he doesn't seem like he has much he's got great range. He doesn't seem like he has missed tackles. I mean, I'm sure he does, but he's like the alligator. Whoever it was, maybe Tool for this said, like, he's like the alligator. You get him, he grabs him, and he wraps and he rolls, and that's all it is. So if I had to actually, pick one, I think Bullard's going to be standalone the best player that we drafted this year. I really do. I hope Jordan Morgan is on that same level, and Marshawn Lloyd, for whoever what I just read there, saying that we have one of the best 1-2 punches. That's a big high praise to say for a guy that has never rushed it down in the NFL, but they have that much confidence in Marshawn Lloyd. So
absolutely, and he's the second person I've seen now that said that Marshawn Lloyd was his top running back in the draft. Obviously, Daniel Jeremiah, being the former NFL scout, being the other. Pretty impressive. Now, when you talk about Evan Williams, he said they're on the backside. Could see him at free safety with Bullard moving to nickel in those packages. I love Oladapo, but the fact that Goody decided to take Evan Williams, 58 spots higher than Oladapo, really says a lot about what they think about Evan Williams. So maybe Evan Williams is that guy that's going to play safety. We talked about Oladapo potentially playing safety if Bullard does kick inside to the slot in those nickel sets. Now, keep in mind, we're not writing Keyshawn Nixon off. We know if there's anyone competitive, it's Keyshawn Nixon. He's going to give these guys a run for their money and try to establish that slot position. But, for me, I think Evan Williams, I don't know why, but it just now hit me like, yeah, that's significant, man. 58 spots higher. That's probably the guy that they're looking to put out there at free safety or even a little strong safety if Bullard does kick the nickel. So going to be interesting to see, man. Camp is going to be awesome, man. There's going to be so many camp battles we're going to be talking about. It's going to be great. You got another read in you, Jacob?
Let's go. All right, so another one, defensive safety, Ketan Oladapo, round 5, pick 169. Different than Bullard and Williams. Big guy looking strong safety prospect. We can see Pack trying to use as a dime linebacker, which we talked about. Maybe a stronger a Mike or something. Will be immediate factor in game and good developmental depth piece. We talked about how that is another one for Williams too. Between Williams and Oladapo, I think they're going to be unbelievable special teams players, like crazy good. Offensive tackle Travis Glover from Georgia State, if I'm not mistaken. Huge, expansive human that scouting staff did a nice job on. Was the only in-week addition to the Senior Bowl and acquitted himself very well. Wasn't overwhelmed by jump in level of competition. More than held his own on the one-on-one drills. Long reach makes him hard to get around in pass pro. Pack has chance to hit on a solid swing OT in year 2 to 3 window. Our quarterback, maybe low-key one of my favorite draft picks. I hope we never use him. I hope we can trade him and get a lot of draft picks. But Michael Pratt from, was it Tulane? Yeah, Tulane. Perhaps biggest surprise fall in the entire draft. Most teams we spoke who had a 3rd or 4th grade, I'll even say that I thought he might go in the 2nd. Elevated Tulane program, plays quarterback position very well. Accurate touch thrower, athletic enough to escape, and extremely tough. Had a higher grade on Pratt than Clifford a year ago. A solid number 2 floor. Wouldn't shock us if he eventually becomes the starter in the right situation. Might be old school Ron Wolf flip for higher than a pick. There we go, in a few years. And then maybe my favorite pick in this whole draft is Kalen King, round 7, pick 255. Was in many ways 2 early first-round mocks this time last year. We thought the 22 tape was day 2 level. Got tested early often, opposite of Joey Porter Jr. as a sophomore and responded, but the 23 tape wasn't the same. Good athlete on tape, but below average combine testing did not help. That's why he fell. Could be a steal if the Pack coaching staff can help him regain confidence he played with just 2 short years ago.
Love it. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for reading that. You're so much better at that than me. Katano Ladapo. I just finished his Chalk Talk tape that we're going to have ready. We're going to do Chalk Talk. Are you available tomorrow, Jacob?
Not tomorrow night. No.
Not tomorrow night. I want to make sure that I'm including you guys in these Chalk Talks. So when will you be available on the next night show, you think?
Oh, boy. I think I'm good Wednesday night. Yeah, I should be good Wednesday night.
Okay. I got to check with Mandy because we are going to go out one night this week and have dinner. So that's on the docket here. But yeah.
Why am I getting ripped apart in the chat for reading good?
It's just the way it goes, man. Jacob's Shed is powered by Home Depot. I love it. So anyway, Oladapo, watching his tape last night, you see him in the dime linebacker position a couple of different times. And the way that he can kick into the box, the way that he can play post safety as well, really, really versatile. Again, I watch Oladapo's tape and go, yeah, we got him at 169. And just knowing that Goody took Evan Williams that much higher than him, telling you, man, it says a lot about how they feel about Evan Williams. But of this list here, hands down, Oladapo is the one I'm most excited about for a Green Bay Packers standpoint. As far as Michael Pratt, I think we got us a solid guy. I think he's going to beat Sean Clifford for that backup job. I really do. Tim, who sticks out to you here, bud?
Yeah, Michael Pratt, man. There's a guy right there. Especially knowing his backstory, man, you know, another kid that's got a lot to play for, besides just the normal drive and strive for greatness when you make it to the NFL level. You know, he's playing for his family, his hometown, you know, some loved ones that he lost along the way. Really cool story with him. And, you know, he's got the measurables too, man. You know, he looks good out there it's not all warm and fuzzy feelings with Michael Pratt, man. The kid can throw the ball. He can hum that tater, as we say. But I think out of this list, man, I'm with you, Clayton, again. KO is probably, you know, my number one out of this group. But Kalen King, man, certainly a guy we can't write off. And probably a guy that could have got picked in the 2nd or 3rd or 4th round, somewhere around there. Ended up falling to us at 7. And, you know, Goody doing Goody things and getting us another steal. So can't wait to see how he turns out. But I'm with you, man. I think Oladapo is the dude out of this list.
Definitely. 2-0 for this says petition to have Jacob read Cliff Crystal's book as an audio book. Amen, man. Amen. All right. Let's see here. We pretty much covered all of that. Again, we've got Oladapo Chalk Talk ready to go. We'll wait a day or two to do that. We're going to have the draft show coming up, or I'm sorry, not the draft show, but the schedule release show coming up here real soon, right? Let's kind of look at the offseason schedule too. The first week of OTAs are scheduled for May 20th, 21st, and 23rd, okay? So that's obviously roughly 7 days away. That the entire team that's going to be participating in the OTAs, I know there's going to be some people that don't show up, but this isn't just rookie OTAs, obviously. So should have the large majority of the team in-house, get those guys together. They can start gelling a little bit. And then obviously it's going to continue May 28th, 29th, and 31st. and then June 3rd, 4th, and 6th. And then it says the Packers are slated to wrap up this year's off-season program with mandatory minicamp June 11th through 13th. And then, of course, training camp will hit in July. So just to kind of give you a quick update on the important dates in that regard. So obviously we get the schedule release coming up. Go ahead, Jacob. I'm sorry.
Oh, nothing. I was going to say, Ron made a good point. We can't do Chalk Talk on the Wednesday schedule release show. Tell you what.
True. So we got plenty of time to do the Chalk Talk, so we're good. The schedule release show, yeah, we've got to make sure that we do that and make it an event. It's going to be a lot of fun, man. So when we do the schedule release show too, we're going to be giving away a football that's autographed by Paul Hornung. That football right over Jacob's right shoulder, left shoulder, right shoulder, right shoulder. Yeah, my left, your right, right, righty tighty, lefty loosey. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So if you guys are interested in trying to win that, anyone who is a member of our Patreon group, we're going to put everybody's name on the wheel and spin it to give away that football during the schedule release show. So if you want to support the channel and win some cool memorabilia along the way, just go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. We appreciate everybody in there. It's been a lot of fun communicating, great conversations in there. We'll do polls and stuff for the show, and it's just a lot of fun, just a little bit better way for us to all connect. But so tomorrow's Tuesday. We'll come up with another show tomorrow. Jacob will not be with us. Tim, will you be available tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. We'll probably get Emilio back in here too. I'm sure if he's not in the clink somewhere, we'll get him back in house to fill in for Jacob. But around the horn here. Anything else you guys got? Jacob, you got anything, bub?
Oh, I don't think so. No. I'm just I'm a little confused because Respect Oranges says that it got pushed to Thursday now. I heard it was the 15th, which I believe is a Wednesday. For anybody else in the chat, it is. It sounds like it is because of the Netflix stuff going on here, contracts and whatnot. I don't know. I mean, got deported.
11 hours ago, it said NFL scheduled to be released May the 15th.
That would be Wednesday then.
That's Wednesday, right? So
yeah.
So hopefully that's the case, but you know how they try to do it. It usually leaks out quite a bit during the day, but they try to do this big reveal. So we'll treat it like the draft. If it hasn't been revealed yet, when we go live at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, if they're doing it like on live NFL Total Access or something, what we'll do is just kind of give you guys it in real time. And I think it'd be a lot of fun, just kind of a way to kick off this next season coming up. So, and again, we're going to give away that football, but yeah. So as of right now, let's plan on Wednesday night. It could be Thursday, but again, that was NFL.com 11 hours ago that said it would be the 15th. So, Tim, you got anything, Bob?
No, just excited. Either way it goes, I mean, it's really about the Packers playing on Christmas. I think we're going to play on Christmas either way about it. We'll see where the bye week falls, given that we're going international week 1. It'll be interesting to see if we get that middle of season to later season bye week, which may or may not be an advantage. I personally, I'd rather have a late bye week than an early one. Especially when you're making a playoff push and you're about to bring Lombardi home with a young team full of studs. So I'm excited to see what happens. But either way, looking forward to some extra football this year, and whether it's on Netflix or whatever. It doesn't matter to me, man. Green and gold till I'm dead and cold. Go Pack, go. That's all I got to say.
Love it. Jacob, what were you going to say, bub?
Did you guys see Paul says that Emilio should have hidden my shed. Is Tom Brady actually going to be switching over to the announcer booth? I saw that.
That's done deal. Yeah.
Fox, man, that's I actually would enjoy that. I think that'd make me. I think that's a good move for him.
He's going to be great, man. He's going to be the color commentator for all of the what they call number 1 games for Fox, right? So the quote unquote games of the week, right? Remember how it used to be Troy and Joe Buck?
Joe Buck.
Yeah. So now it's going to be Tom, and who I'm trying to think of who's with Tom, but I'm sure they'll announce it if they haven't already. So. Look at it. Chewy says, wait for it. Boothgate.
All right. Hey. That's just the way we talk in the clink.
We're out of here, guys. If you would, please do us a big, big favor. Hit that like button. if you're watching on YouTube. That really helps the channel. Feel free to subscribe. And if you didn't like the show, just like I said, it was nice talking to you, but we'll probably never see each other again. Take care. Godspeed, right? But yeah, just if you
For
guys
those of
do
you listen on the pod,
thank you. But yeah, just hit that like button. Like I said, that'll help boost the algorithm just a touch. We appreciate y'all. If you're watching on Twitter, feel free to click on my profile. You'll see the YouTube link in there where you can it'll send you directly to the YouTube channel where you can subscribe there. And yeah, that way you can turn the notifications on and see. We pretty much go live daily for the most part when we're not celebrating anniversaries, which sounds like everybody's got anniversaries this month. That's the way it goes. But we should be back tomorrow. Like I said, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. Talk a little more Packers. I'm sure we'll have some other fun topics to hit on. Any day now, too, you might see that Jordan Love contract come down the pike. So we'll be ready for that as well.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, if we don't get it done soon, it's going to be $400 million. Worth every penny, too. Jordan Love going to walk in that locker room. They're going to be like, man, his wallet's
thick.
Exactly. And then everybody all the rookies, all the fringe players on the minimum contracts will be kissing up to Jordan like,
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
let me hold a Benny. So, all right, everybody have a good evening. Jacob, Tim, thank y'all for hanging out with me, man. Really appreciate it. Like I said, for those of you listening on the pod, thank you for making us part of your day. As always, let's go out and be the change that we want to see in the world. And go Pack, go.
The power sweep. Actually, it's the lead play in our offense. Yes, a YN or a tight end to open up somewhere between 6 feet and 9 feet. Get an isolation with the linebacker. Tell the tackle to take the defensive end if he's over him. If he's not, to drive down on the first man to his inside. If the YN has the linebacker taken out, he cuts inside. If the YN has the linebacker in, he comes all the way around. You look at this play where we're trying to get a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.